Hi, I'm Rachel. Welcome to Life on Purpose. I invite you to join in on this journey to live a life of deep meaning and intention. What is the one thing you are going to do this year? It's now the beginning of 2025, and it's time when many people think about the past year and what they've accomplished and look forward to the next year of what they might like to shift in their lives and their goals or intentions that they're going to set for themselves for that coming 12 months. And this is something I have always been passionate about, having a focus of self-development and wanting to make my life meaningful. And the beginning of the year has been a time when I have always reflected. And then I have set new goals for the next year. And the new year is kind of a big mark on my calendar for a new start, a fresh start, a new me, a new identity. And it's not only because of the holiday of New Year's, but it's also very appropriate that my birthday is New Year's Day. And this solidifies in my mind and in my life even more this idea of this starting and this ending of these cycles of where I'm at in my life and taking time to evaluate and where I'm headed and the direction that my life is leading, and cutting away things that don't serve me anymore and incorporating new patterns and experiences that I want to have in my life that are calling out to me. And this new year of 2025 has been unlike any I have experienced in the past. And I love and depend on my daily planner. For as long as I can remember, I have always been someone who has written down my plans, written down my agenda and tasks to do, the things I'm thinking about. I have used everything, Franklin Covey, passion planners. I've created my own planning pages. I love having my online calendar as well that's coordinated with my family, which keeps all of us very organized and helps with communication for our plans. But I have always used a written planner in conjunction, and that has really served me throughout all of these years. Even way back to high school and college, I had my calendar and I loved to plan and make plans and check things off and feel that sense of accomplishment. Having a large family, that was essential, staying organized as well as being a working mom. I depended on that so much. And this year I had the thought and the intention of buying a new planner for this year, 2025, but for some reason I kept putting it off. And I entered into this new year with no physical planner at all, which we are over a week now into this new year. And it's kind of left me feeling a little bit unbalanced in some ways. But I've been writing things down on pieces of paper, and I'm still coming to a decision on what I want to use this year as my tool for my priorities and to have kind of my structure for how I schedule myself and I schedule those top priorities in my life. So I started off this year with no planner. And I also did not take time to sit down and write out my reflections of the previous year and look forward to evaluate. And that has been something very different. Although I did do that with my husband and we talked through some things of this past year and also just some personal reflection of my own of thinking about, okay, what has happened over this past year and what has taken some different paths than maybe I expected. And what am I proud of? And what do I want to shift? And evaluate, okay, what am I thinking about and dreaming about and intending for this coming year? And I didn't take the time to list those things out. And even though I don't have them specifically written out, I always have a vision that is ongoing for the life I'm moving towards as I'm living my life on purpose. But I decided to choose one thing for this year that I was going to accomplish. And this one thing is something that has excited me for a long time. When I see other people doing it, I want to join in with them. And it's also very vulnerable. And a piece of me is scared. And that mixture of excitement with that piece of me that feels some fear, I know is the perfect formula for growth. And that is how I know that that's something that I want to do for this year, that it is going to be meaningful. And I don't want another year to go by without doing this thing. So my thing for this year is dance. I have always enjoyed how my body has reacted to music and how I have found enjoyment and fulfillment in dance. But I have held myself back for too many years. As a child, I was enrolled in tap dancing and ballet, and I have some cute little pictures of me in my outfits and at recitals. And that was an experience for a short time and did not continue through my childhood years. And I had an experience as a young 8-year-old girl experiencing sexual trauma from a person in a position of trust. And also having people not take that discomfort or that experience seriously until I had had multiple experiences with this abuser. And I look back and I realize that I allowed this experience to plant in me some really limiting beliefs about trusting myself and trusting others and what my body is for. And I heard messages growing up about how young women should behave or dress or be in a way to not attract the wrong attention, meaning we don't behave in a way to arouse other people because then that's your responsibility for their thoughts and their actions. And I can understand that these ideas come from a place of fear and they are misguided, but they were the messages that I received and I held on to. And I grew up in a community that dance was allowed and something for a social activity, but there were also limits on it so that it didn't become too suggestive or evocative. And dancing to me was seen as something that could be fun, but also that could be dangerous. I remember learning about this woman in the Bible who was dancing for Herod and pleased him so much that he granted the request to hold an execution. I mean, that is super dramatic, but that stayed with me. So dance was not just meant for your own personal enjoyment, but maybe it was also for entertainment for others and connection to others and to even influence others in negative ways or to receive attention that maybe you didn't want. And social dancing in general comes along with some insecurities about how you're moving your body, how you're experiencing that, and what other people are thinking of you, and about your shape and your size and the shape and size of other bodies. And there's just so much judgment about what's okay and what's not okay. And I'm speaking personally from my own experience as a teenager, being really judgmental of others and how they might be choosing to experience dance or not dance, and also judgment towards myself. Feeling like maybe something was wrong with me. I was not safe in my body. I couldn't trust what I was feeling. I don't even know that I could trust my own pleasure and enjoyment. And feeling some of these conflicting feelings of wanting to be safe in my body and express myself, but not give people the wrong idea. And I don't really feel comfortable with being free in my body and moving it in fun ways because how will people see that and judge that? I have this amazing cousin. I want to give a shout out to Bonnie, who is such a talented dancer and such a beautiful person. And I remember visiting her in Utah and seeing videos of her and watching her on stage and being so inspired and wanting to do that, wanting to move my body in such a free and flowing and beautiful way. And she certainly had training, but she also had a talent for that. And now she has run her own successful dance studio for years. And I love that she has used that way of expression to create beauty in this world. And she has such an open heart and a security with who she is and how she dances and how she moves. And she doesn't hold back. Even when she's not dancing, even if you see her walking or sometimes skipping down the sidewalk, you can experience how she is feeling free in her body and she's not holding back. She's not pushing down what she is feeling, worried about how other people are feeling or how other people are experiencing this situation or how other people might be judging her. So as a teenager and young adult, I went to these social dances. And after I was married, there were not a lot of opportunities to dance in social settings within our community. And there were some experiences at weddings or special events where there were dances, but nothing on a regular basis and nothing definitely where I felt like I could be myself, be free to dance however I wanted to and not worry about judgment or how I looked. I remember being on a trip with my husband in Hawaii, and we went on this little dinner cruise. And I was pregnant with our third child at the time. And there was an opportunity at this event for couples to go up and dance as part of this dinner evening that we were at. And I held back. I didn't want to because of how I felt that I looked, how other people would be looking at me. And I didn't want that. But after that experience, I felt really sad that I didn't take that opportunity, that I didn't overcome those limiting thoughts. And I made a commitment that I would not allow the chance to dance to pass me by again. And I don't remember if I have fully kept that commitment or not, but I do know that that was a turning point for me in my thoughts about the opportunity to dance. So a few more years went by, and now we have 4 children and we're living in Los Angeles. And I had a friend invite me to go to a ballet class with several other friends. So a couple times a week, we would go over to the studio and take this ballet class. And I'm realizing that I'm taking the class because I saw it as exercise rather than just moving my body in a way that felt good and as a way of expression. And we never had any performances or recitals, but it did bring me some awareness to my body of having my body move with the music, trusting whatever my body was doing was fine. With all of these mirrors, I could see myself and appreciate myself and what I could do and how strong I was and how healthy my body was. And I really was able to have some appreciation for myself. So now fast forward through many more years, and I have held some dance parties in my home with friends, and that has been really fun. And I've danced at some events. But this New Year's, I was searching online for a dance opportunity to celebrate the new year that maybe my family could attend. And I happened upon an event that was so unique. And I am so glad that my husband and I decided to have this experience that was out of the box for us and really exciting. So I want to give a shout out to Ecstatic Dance Columbus for hosting this amazing New Year's Eve event. And I had heard of ecstatic dance before, but I had never experienced it. And what it is basically dance music that you might hear at a club. It has a beat that has some bass at times, and other times it flows, and it's beautiful. It's this beautiful mixture of dance. And what happens is that everyone who's participating is sober. There's no intoxication at all, so that everyone participating can be very present and aware with themselves. And everyone is allowed to move however they feel. There is no right way, there's no wrong way to this movement and to expression. And it's very internal and personal. It's a time of discovery of how you feel with the music, how your body feels, how it feels as it's moving in that moment. And it's especially lovely because no one can take pictures or videos. So you feel really free to just do whatever you want to in that moment. And ecstatic dance is not necessarily meant to be a time of socializing, as there's not really talking during ecstatic dance, as people are choosing how they want to move. It's more of a personal experience. Others can join in with, have a dance partner if others are open to that. But really, for me, it wasn't a time where I was free from judgment. I was free from dancing for any other reason than my own curiosity and pleasure and fulfillment. All of the rest of that dropped away. And that was my focus of being really curious and being present and feeling exactly what I felt and having that enjoyment. And everyone else there was participating for the same reason, not to put on a show for anyone else or to be a certain way or to dance in a certain way, but just to be who they were and dance in a way that their body wanted to move and wanted to experience. And I had the best time ever. And I met some amazing people and had a very freeing experience with dance. Knowing that I am safe in my body, that I can move in ways that feel good and right to me, and not hold the responsibility of what anyone else is thinking or doing or how what I'm doing is impacting them. All of that was just melted. And I felt more of me, more in myself, more authentic, more in my integrity. This past weekend, my son Preston and I were at an event where some music was playing. And Preston is 17 years old and he has Down syndrome. And he has always loved music, loved dancing. He is a beautiful example of embracing how music feels in his body. And there have been times where I have seen other people watching him dance who are just joyful because of how happy he is when he's dancing and expressing himself. But we were at this event, some music was playing, and he was sitting, but he was moving his body from side to side. He was moving his arms. He was smiling. And a woman noticed this and came up to him. And she said, "Doesn't that feel good?" And I loved that because it reminded me that we can trust our bodies to what feels good. We can trust our soul. We can trust our spirit. And I'm learning to trust myself and trust that this world is a safe place to be and that I'm safe to express myself and be in this physical form and move to all kinds of music and enjoy it and find pleasure in it. Now, I don't have the dream of dancing on Broadway, but this year I'm going to experience more ecstatic dance events. And I'm also joining a women's dance group that does perform in parades and at events around Cincinnati. So I am embracing this experience of dance in 2025. And I look forward to the journey over this next year to see how this shifts me and shifts the energy within me. And really think about, am I able to embrace more of who I truly am? And I know that as I am more free, letting other people see who I truly am as a woman who's confident and having fun, I allow others to do the same. I allow others to be free and have fun. So if you have made it to this place in the episode, I invite you to take a moment of stillness with me and take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. And from this place of stillness, ask yourself, what is calling to me for this year? What is something that maybe has been nudging that maybe you have pushed down or stayed small in that experience? I would love for you to share with me, what is your one thing for this year? What is the one thing that's exciting, but also comes from a place of tenderness and vulnerability? Thank you so much for joining me on living with intention and living with purpose. And until next time, I'm sending you love. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you are ready to live your life with greater purpose and intention, check out my free Power of Vision workshop, where you'll uncover your life dream, eliminate doubt, and move forward toward your goals with confidence. Get instant access with the provided link. Your life is too precious to live just by chance or by default. I want you to live your life on purpose. I will see you next time.